You want my way too early prediction? Or do you know what my way too early prediction is? Let's see if you know
I
it.
think it's Topuria by knockout.
Topuria by knockout.
Yeah, I figured so. And you know what's crazy is I can't not see it.
Yo, what's happening, baby?
Dude.
Episode 56. We're back right after last night's UFC 298. It's our immediate reactions to Volk versus Topuria. Obviously, most of us, if not all of us, have seen how that fight has gone out now today, 12 hours later. Ilia wins in impressive fashion with a second round knockout. We're going to be putting out a couple different recordings around this card this week. So if you haven't already subscribed to the YouTube channel, like the video, ring the bell, watch out for more stuff coming. But let's get into it. So let's just start, man. Main event.
You want to get right into the
I want to get right into the fucking main event. Right into the meat and potatoes.
I knew you
of
would.
the card.
Fucking asshole.
So here we go. So we had Alexander Volkanovski, Ilia Topuria, UFC 298 last night. The old dog versus the young prospect. There was a lot of talk back and forth all week about how it was going to go. Volk, took his last fight on short notice, got knocked out this time. He had a full training camp. And people thought the outcome was going to be a little bit different. I obviously called this one, right? I called it fucking 3 months ago. I called this. Ilia is different. He's a different breed. He's a different animal. The power is fucking for real. And I don't know. Volk looked really, really good in that first round, even in the beginning of the second round before the knockout. Playing at a distance. He was picking him apart. He was beating Ilia up, tearing his leg up, utilizing his jab really, really well. But Ilia is just a dangerous motherfucker, man, when you let him get on the inside of you. And he landed a little combo. He got Volk against the cage, landed a combination, and then came over with a right hook. That was just, absolutely beautiful. Now we have a new featherweight champion of the world, baby. Ilia El Matador Topuria.
Yeah, and if you haven't noticed right now, or by now, Murky's been a Matador rider for the last few months. And I have not been, nor will I ever be. But that's beyond anybody's business. But yeah, if we learned one thing last night, dude, and for all you old UFC heads out there, OGs of the sport, been watching it for a while, I'm just going to be straight up with you. Stop picking based on your fucking pride and just fucking learn that this is a new era of MMA. And it kills me to admit it because I don't like fucking seeing my favorites lose, and I never will. I'm never going to bet against Alexander Volkanovski no matter what. The dude is the featherweight GOAT, in my opinion. Yeah, you can call Aldo whatever. You can say whatever you want. Volkanovski, sure. His reign of being a champion was unlike anybody else. And going into that fight, there was just no possible way you were going to convince me that he wasn't going to stay undefeated in that division. And, whatever, give Ilia his flowers, congratulations, undefeated champ. He's going to go on a serious run, and it's going to be hard to beat him. Is he beatable? Yeah. Is it likely? No. He's probably going to hold the belt for a long time because there's really no one in that division right now that is going to be able to outbeat him better than Volkanovski could have, So, it upsets me, kind of hurts me, bro, because all I'm seeing right now is just we're into another veteran of the sport making veteran dumb decisions, continuing to fight, knowing that they're past their prime, knowing their chin's been tested, and for Volk to sit on that stage last night and to try to say that the knockout from Islam didn't affect him in that fight is bullshit. It did. Yeah, cool. You wanted to be grateful and say, that's beyond me. We can't take credit away from Ilia. He's the new champ. He deserves it. But dude, come on, bro. Yeah. That definitely affected you. And it did. And like we were just talking about before we got on, I personally think he should leave that division, man. He almost needs to do what Aljamain is doing and Stop cutting so much weight. I mean, he looks when your chin gets tested like that, when you start doing serious weight cuts, the guy's almost 40 years. He'll be 40 years old soon, man. I mean, he's like 38, dude.
He's 35. It's
Is he
not
really?
that. Yeah, he's only 35. It's not that serious, but
Yeah,
yeah,
well, he looks like he's fucking 38. I thought he was 38.
especially when he was asleep on the canvas last night.
All right, motherfucker. You didn't have to throw the jab in there, dude. God dang it. Yeah, so I thought he was a little bit older than that. Wow. I guess I was mistaken. I thought he was way older than that.
Nah,
Well, anyway,
Cejudo is 37.
that's what I
Cejudo's
was
a little
thinking
bit
of then.
closer.
We
Yeah.
were talking about that. That's what I was thinking was 37. But he's getting to the point where he's been, for one, Volkanovski was like a 200 something pound dude at one point, and now he's fighting at fucking 145 pounds, dude. So like the weight cut's ridiculous
Right.
for him already. So if he steps up, maybe it'll give him a little bit more comfortability to not have to lose so much weight. Maybe his chin won't be so compromised. But then again, if you look at it, man, it's like I feel like he almost like he that first fight with Islam, he ate fucking punches from Islam. He ate punches from Islam in the second fight. Obviously, he ate that head kick, but I mean,
Well, he didn't eat it too well, but yeah.
But I mean, Ilya's dominant, man. I mean, there's not really much you can say, dude. He did what he had to do. He did what he said he was going to do, and hats off to him. Am I a fan of him? No, I'm not going to be a fan of him. I don't really like him, but whatever. Anybody, you can like him all you want to. You don't have to be me, but I mean, I just hope Volk thinks long and hard about what's next for him, because in my opinion, what's next shouldn't be a rematch. I think he needs to reconsider or take a long time off and really decide what he wants to do with his future.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I said that to you earlier as well. I think the immediate rematch that Dana talked about, and they asked him, I think the immediate rematch in Spain is definitely intriguing, and I think it can go the other way. I mean, if there's anybody that can beat Topuria, I think it is Alexander Volkanovski, especially the way that he looked through the first round and a half or so. But I mean, Topuria is 27 years old. He's undefeated. He just knocked out arguably the greatest featherweight of all time. After a full camp, like there is no built-in excuse on this one for Volk, like there was for Islam taking on 12 days notice. He had the full camp. He knew his opponent was. He had the time to prepare. Ilya's just incredibly dangerous. Like, you can't let him get close to you. And the thing is he's going to get close to you, and you really can't. His power, Islam. So he 8 shots from Islam. Volk 8 shots from Islam. Islam hit him in the first fight, right? I don't know if he hit him like that, right? Like, are we?
I mean, that's kind of crazy to say that. I mean, dude, Islam definitely probably hits harder than Ilia does. I mean,
you think?
It's a bigger difference. I mean, bigger guy, harder punch, I'm sure. But there's
Ilia's fought at lightweight.
Yeah, true. I mean, but then again, it's like there's a difference. I mean, you're going to sit here and tell me Islam's not better than Ilia Topuria? I think I'd call you crazy.
Not yet. Yeah, Islam's better than him right now.
Islam might be the best fighter in the UFC.
He is. He's pound for pound number one. Absolutely.
So, I mean, and that's coming from me, which you fucking heard that, clip that, because you ain't never going to hear me say that motherfucking shit again.
Yeah.
You can believe that. But,
wait till Tuesday when I got my papapka that I'm going to start wearing every fucking episode.
That's G as fuck, because we're about to talk about that. And this was another guy I was a hater of. I mean, let's finish up with Ilia first.
Yeah,
before we move on.
Let's finish with the main event. So before we get into going down the rest of the card, let's leave some final thoughts on the main event. Alex, he really, my opinion, and I think you agree, is he needs to take some serious time off, right? Like, and I don't know if he's going to, but I just see him needing to take a year off and to recover, because these 3 month, 2, 3, 4 month turnarounds after getting viciously knocked out does not seem to be serving him well. But we're going to have to see how things play out. He's a fucking fighter, man. There's no doubt. I mean, that dude is on go mode all the time. So I don't know if he's going to be willing to do that. And then as far as Topuria goes, I've said this. I don't know if you agree. I don't care. I don't see anyone in the featherweight division beating Ilia Topuria right now. The only fight, and this is probably a little premature, but
Diego
the only
Lopez.
fight, no, the only fight that is intriguing to me is Mafsar Evilov.
I was gonna say him, but he's got to get past Diego Lopez. I think
Mafsar Evilov. What do you mean, Diego Lopez? No, he just beat Brendan Allen.
Yeah, I think they're gonna end up fighting, bro. One day they've been
Nah,
talking.
he's way too high ranked. He's too high ranked for Diego Lopez right now. Like you're gonna give Evilov. You got to give Evilov like a top, a top contender, and then he's gonna be fighting for the belt. Evilov's 2 fights away from fighting for a title, and that's the fight to me. That's the most intriguing. I'm sure everybody would love to see. All right, well, he knocked Volk out. Let's see how he fucking does with Max. Like that's the shit I saw on Twitter all day today.
Well, he's not gonna fight Max.
I don't think he fights Max. Maybe Max wants that, to try to fucking. I don't know. Max is a gamer too, bro. But I think you right now are definitely not alone in the way that you feel after watching Volk lose. Like there's
I know
a majority of the fan base feels exactly like you do.
I know.
I think if people want to spare themselves of the pain and suffering, they're not calling for Max and Topuria, because I think you're going to end up seeing the same fucking thing. I think Yair Rodriguez has got fucking nothing for Topuria. I think Topuria fucking murders Yair.
Well, the true test will be what's next for Ilia. Obviously, it's going to be the winner of Yair versus Brian Ortega, which will likely be who fights for the title next.
As long as Volk doesn't fight the rematch.
Assuming Volk doesn't fight the rematch, it's Yair Brian Ortega.
I think the rematch gets priority. Then you're going to be looking at Yair Brian Ortega potentially.
But I think Volk. In my opinion, I'll leave it at this, and this is my final thoughts. I think Volk takes a year off, if not a year, at least 6 months, and either goes up a weight class. Because personally, I sent you a list of fights that I am like placing as 2024 like fights I want to see happen. One of those being Volk versus Charles Oliveira. I've wanted to see that fight to see that fight for a while, because this kind of gives you a chance now to see how compromised Volk is, because Charles is a great striker, but Charles also gets hit hard and a lot. So he can get battle tested real quick, but then we get to truly see how good of a fucking takedown defense and how good of ground like submission defense that Volk has at that higher weight class,
Yeah.
But as far as for Ilia, I mean, Evolve, whatever. I mean, I was impressed with his last fight, but I wasn't at the same time. Like, I don't think
sure.
I don't think he even is remotely close or good enough to beat Ilia right now. And I think there's still a lot of other people who are just as good, if not better.
They're 2 undefeated fighters at the top of the featherweight division, right? So like their stories are aligned to clash at some point.
Yeah, that's true. But then you got to think about Evolov. Evolov is going to have to get through a top 5 guy, top 6 guy, likely going to get thrown like Josh Emmett or somebody who's coming off of a fucking vicious knockout over Bryce Mitchell. So like, he's kind of like that gatekeeper. You're going to have to get through him. And then we got Yair and Brian Ortega. So hell, if Brian Ortega somehow beats Yair Rodriguez, then you're throwing a wrench into everything, because Ortega's been out for over a year. And now he's getting this fight, wins. Now he's a number 1 contender. Yair's there. You still have Arnold Allen, who just lost to Imavov. So Imavov's probably number 5 right now.
Yeah. So Mafsar Evilov is number 5. Arnold Allen is 6th. So, and I think I said Brendan Allen earlier.
Yeah, you did.
My apologies.
Who is number 4 right now?
Brian Ortega.
Then
Yair, Max, and
Yair,
I guess
Max,
Volk, and then Ilia would be champ. Right now on the rankings, it still has Volk as champ. So they haven't updated that top 5 ranking. Okay. It has Ilia at 3. But obviously, I think Volk would be 1, Max would be 2, Yair would be 3, Ortega 4, Evilov 5. So yeah, I mean, and the trouble for Evilov is, so he beat Arnold Allen, but Max is fighting Gaethje at 300.
Yep. So that's
Yair and Ortega are fighting. So
Yep.
everybody ahead of him has a fight. I mean, is there a way? Is there any chance that Evilov just fucking jumps everybody and goes right to get a shot?
No. What is Arnold Allen's number 6?
Arnold Allen 6, Josh Emmett 7.
So the only thing would be because they're not going to move. I mean, you could do Josh Emmett versus Imavov just because there's no fight there. And then,
Right.
because Josh Emmett was a top 5 fighter until he lost to Ilia. And then that moved him back.
Yep.
So
and then he just
viciously knocked out. But now you just see what Ilia did to Volk, which makes so now, like, how do you take that away from Josh Emmett? It's like, dude, like, this guy just, for one, Josh Emmett did not. How did he beat
that went to decision?
Decision, right?
Yeah, it was a convincing,
a very convincing decision, but still,
yeah.
I mean, that holds weight.
And that was a 5-round fight as well. So he stood in there with 5 rounds and
5 rounds with Ilia.
He ate the shot that Volk just took and got knocked out by.
I know.
Josh Emmett ate that a few times.
Like, do you give Josh Emmett another chance to crack the top 5 again and maybe give him Imavov?
Yeah,
that would be. I mean, and then you just get Yair and I want to see Yair Ilia. To be honest, I want to see how Ilia fares against a guy who has a bigger reach.
Yeah,
because I mean, Emmett
kicks
doesn't have a crazy reach. Bryce Mitchell didn't have a crazy reach against him, and kicks more, throws those legs, because that was hurting Ilia in this fight with Volk.
Yes.
Volk was hitting them leg kicks on him, So like, imagine getting Yair's leg kicks, 30, 40 times around. Like, it may make a difference. So
it may.
Who knows?
It could.
Like, that's a fight I'm excited to see if it happens. So, and I know that Yair lost to Volk, but I mean, different people are stylistically different,
Absolutely.
So,
stylistic matchups definitely matter. And now we're looking at, like, this is what makes the changing of this belt exciting to me. I know I asked you before we started, you're not even a little bit excited.
No.
But this is what makes it exciting, man. You have a fucking new, young, undefeated champion, and now we get to sit here and like, fuck. All right, now what? You know what I mean?
All I wanted last night was for Volk to win and then lay his gloves down and retire as the greatest.
Well, I don't think that was ever going to happen. I don't think that was even on the table for him if he won.
I don't know why he wouldn't, though. Like,
yeah, I mean, we want to see guys go out on top. Unfortunately, in this game, more often than not, you see them going out.
Or he would have stepped up, or he would have went up a weight class, and he would have left the featherweight division behind.
Said, there's nothing left for me here.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
well,
I mean, that's it. That's all I got for that main event. So
let's move on to the rest of the main card. If you're watching this video or listening to this podcast, man, leave a comment and let us know what you want to see. Kind of like what you want to see, what these next matchups look like. Like how does the top 5 shake out? Who does Ilia fight next? What's the next matchup for Ilia? What does he do? What's the best path for Volk here moving forward? You have Ortega Yair coming up soon. Who's the winner of that? What does Max do after he fights Gaethje for the BMF belt? Evilov, he's an undefeated top 5 fighter. Where does he fit into the mix? So, if you're listening to this, like the video, leave a comment, let us know what you guys are thinking. And we'll kind of go from there.